We'll let you go there. Priyanka Navani, live there from Beirut. Well, Nizar Farsak is a lecturer of international affairs at George Washington University and joins us live now. Nizar, thank you very much for speaking to us. Netanyahu has announced that the Israeli cabinet's approved a ceasefire agreement with Lebanon. What do you make of what was said earlier in his statement?
He's definitely trying to paint it as a success, as a victory. I think a lot of his references were to vindicate statements he made in 2023 that the war is going to take at least a year and he will accept nothing but complete victory. So he's trying to make that connection that he promised and he delivered, and that all of those skeptics that were saying that the way he's running the war was not going the right way. He's trying to show that actually he did win, he did succeed, and his policy succeeded. So I think the statement is more inwards. It's more towards the Israeli citizens and trying kind of like a victory lap to kind of consolidate his power in the Israeli government.
Nizar, Netanyahu has also said that Israel will now intensify the pressure on Hamas. So what could this all mean for the war on Gaza?
Unfortunately, it does give Israel a lot of more space and basically men and women to fight in Gaza. The plan in Gaza, of course, as we now know, is to occupy different strips in the north, in the middle, and in the south, so that Gaza is at least 3, if not 5 cantons, and to continue to occupy and manage Gaza in that fashion. So with ceasefire in Lebanon, the Israeli government and the Israeli military has plenty of space and time to take its time in changing the reality in Gaza.
I did also want to ask you about Netanyahu's reference to Iran, saying that this truce will also allow Israel to focus on the, quote, Iranian threat. What of that? What do you make of that?
That is actually true, right? Because if the war continued, any attack on Iran would have had Hezbollah, who's of course closer and has its rockets much closer, exact a price on Israel. With the ceasefire with Lebanon, Israel is not menaced by Hezbollah, and it's only Iranian rockets and not Iranian proxies that can or that Israel needs to focus on, which puts Israel in a much better position, or robs Iran of a leverage, military leverage it had while Hezbollah was part of the war.
He also said that the duration of this truce depends on what happens next in Lebanon. What's he referring to there? And what are we looking at here? Is this a full and permanent ceasefire or not so?
So we'll have to wait and see. Part of the language is intentionally ambiguous. What Netanyahu is referring to is in the previous agreement or the UN Resolution 1701 in 2006. One of the articles said that Hezbollah would go north of the Litani, and that the UN forces and the Lebanese forces would make sure or to keep the peace. And what the Israelis took issue with is that Hezbollah did stay in the Litani, and Hezbollah would argue that Israel also breached the blue line by flying over Lebanon. And what they want now, they're claiming, is they want the UN force to actually actively stop any militants from coming into the Litani, while the UN argues that its function is only observation and not actual engagement with militants. And the additional one that the Minister of Defense, Katz, mentioned is that they will tolerate no military threat and not action. So it's actually just threat, which includes either the building of weapons by Hezbollah inside Lebanese territories, or manufacture of weapons, as well as weapons shipments to Lebanon The Israeli Minister of Defense argued that that would be a threat that they reserve the right to act upon.
Nizar, we're going to leave it there for now, but thank you very much. Nizar Farsak speaking to us live there from George Washington University. Let's cross back.